Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
He didn't have any idea when you
No, he didn't.
Still watching Prime Morning, and it's time for the Newsflash segment. This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone, Papa Perfy, whatever gadgets you're looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, we say worry no more because we've got you covered. And let me tell you this, things are very authentic. And so anytime you are looking for a gadget, the only place to go to is Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, to make things very simple, why don't you download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app, or for further inquiries, visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Perfy. So this morning, actually, we are going to be talking about good news. You know, when we talk about good news, Ghanaians are excited about what the president has done. So far, people say so good. But do you also say so good, or you think that there is more to be done? Now, we are talking about the taxes that were campaigned on, that if voted into power, they will make sure they scrap the tax. Now, talking about this campaign promise wasn't just by the NDC government, but the NPP government also campaigned on the same thing, that they will also scrap the taxes. Looking at it now, yesterday, the president assented to the bill, and so finally, we are talking about the emission tax, the e-levy, and the betting tax, which has been scrapped. We still have the COVID tax hanging in there somewhere. We are hoping that it will also be scrapped. But these three taxes have been scrapped, and we'll delve into that conversation. But don't forget to be a part of it as well. So send your messages to us on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. My name is Roslyn Felly, and yesterday it did rain. Actually, it at dawn. So I can't even say yesterday because it started raining around 1 a.m. So this morning, it started raining, and we actually enjoyed the thunder and the lightning. I'm saying enjoy, it's like enjoyed, because we're all scared. And all of a sudden, almost everywhere had power outage. Did you also have power outage? Let's hear you this morning. Are you going through the phase of doomsday because of the rains, or everything is fine at your end? Still, let's hear from you this morning. So today we are going to be talking about that. And I think there's a bit of clarity here when we talk about the cocaine bust and all of that. We might not understand what really is. And so maybe we'll delve slightly into it to get to understand the cocaine bust, where the $350 million cocaine bust saga is, where the flight that landed in Ghana saga also is. We'll talk a bit about that, and maybe we'll touch a little bit on the missing cables by the ECG. You know, we all know that a certain numbers of containers were supposed to be at the ports, but when the government went there to clear, it had been reduced drastically. And so we'll talk briefly about that. We also heard that some Chinese men were arrested because they were able to trace some of the containers to them. And so they've been arrested, but they're still looking for the remaining ones. Some former appointees of the government's name have popped up that they could be linked to it. Briefly, we'll talk about that as well. But our main conversation happens to be the taxes that have been taken away finally. Let me welcome my guests who are seated and poised for the conversation. This morning, sitting next to me is Osei Kwame Griffith, who is representing the NDC. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well.
Great. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
You have lights?
Yes, we do.
Oh, wow. Which area is that?
Boche.
But I mean, Boche, we don't have lights.
Oh, that's maybe the area. I'm at Little Roses area.
Which one is the Little Roses?
That's I don't know how it's... Little Roses is a very popular place.
Is it?
The goal before... I mean, as soon as you leave School Junction coming, you see the School Junction area. The goal on your right.
Right.
That area.
You have lights?
Yes.
Wow. Amazing. Openyi Kwame Jantuah Esquire represents the CPP. Openyi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. You know why I'm smiling?
Why?
Good morning to our viewers. In describing where he is, instead of using the road names, said, oh, Gol area, that. So if that is the case, what was the use of naming our roads? It goes to show that we do things to help, but in helping, we don't help ourselves. We should know the names. I know the name of my road.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, Kofi Potofi Link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had
So
light.
you're at West Legon?
I'm in West Legon.
So I happen to know, but if I had said that I'm at Sowadin, she may not know. So the essence was just to let her know.
But somebody listening knows Sowadin.
Okay.
Well, I had lights, but just as I drove out of the house, I realized certain parts didn't have light.
Didn't have light. Okay, so mine went off around
So what is the challenge?
2 a.m. or something.
What is the challenge?
Yeah, that's the
Ever
question
since
I'm asking.
I've been in this country from childhood. When it rains,
No light.
light goes off.
Well,
So what is the challenge?
It has to do, you know that last time it rained, the wind is such that it can let some of the high tension cables cross. And when that happens, it could be disastrous.
Is it always we have wind? Other countries go through worse weather.
Yeah.
The lights stay on. Can we not solve it?
Can we not solve it?
But
Well,
you
that's a good
remember the
question.
last time there was rains in the area, we were out of power for a day and a half. I don't know whether it affected you too. And because there was a major problem where the high tension cables crossed, and it bent a whole transformer and a few things. So they had to work on it.
So that's what Openye Kwame Jantuah is saying, that we should be able to move past that.
It hasn't happened just once. It's happened over. Can we not find solutions to it?
I mean, I'm sure we can. The issue is that, I mean, not to be defending because
But Rosalind, something you said in your first show, you said Solomon. No, it was Solomon was the wisest man.
Yes.
So he had many wives.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means it's good to have many wives.
Managing women is not easy, you know. So if you can...
he had wisdom.
He had wisdom to manage all these women, you know.
It goes to show in the Bible, you can have many wives.
having to manage more than one.
It's not
One is enough.
He's wise.
You did
He's wise.
wisdom.
He's a wise man, isn't he? He's a wise man. Are you not wise? Are you not wise?
Anyway, let me quickly do what the newspapers are reporting, and then we can go into our topic for this morning. Don't forget that you can join us on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. We're also streaming live on Facebook, and so I say that our Facebook viewers mean so much to us. Go on there, leave your comments there, and we'll read all your comments this morning. I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper, the Daily Graphic. E-levy, betting tax, emission tax is scrapped. President assents to bill. So finally, it has happened, and this is what we'll be talking about. Address issues affecting teachers by April 30th, NAT tells government. MIIF to increase royalties collections. Government moves to track excavator imports, and that will be all for the Daily Graphic newspaper. So government is moving to track excavator imports, and this is a way for them to fight galamsey. The Overseer newspaper is the next newspaper. The Overseer. Ghana introduces key amendments to boost fiscal discipline. President Mahama appoints Prince Mahmoud Idrisu as Deputy CEO of GEA. Jospon Group studies waste to energy and apprenticeship program in Austria. It is finished. E-levy, betting tax and emission tax abolished. Please, I ask for one more thing. COVID tax, can it be taken off? COVID is gone. COVID is gone. Can it be taken off? COVID is gone. Maybe some of you don't know that you pay COVID tax. You pay. COVID is gone. Can it be taken off, please? Thank you very much. But this is good news. But please, I'm fighting for COVID too. The New Republic newspaper is my final newspaper. The New Republic, from preacher to perpetrator. The twisted tale of Edubuahin's stewardship betrayal unveiled. And this man is still trending because of some $7 million that, you know, as of now, it's alleged that he squandered. And there's also an allegation that he bought 27 houses in a day. So, and there are videos of him that are circulating that he was preaching in churches. He said, grab every opportunity that you have. Well, it looked like he grabbed the opportunity. Erastus, government in action on galamsey. And Erastus Asaridonko is one person we've been speaking to on Prime Morning since Monday. We keep talking to him, and he's always giving us updates on galamsey. NPP MP dodges a drug trafficking allegation. And the same thing we're talking about, there's going to be a bit of clarity on it, because he actually came out to let us know that there was some sort of drug trafficking ongoing, and that's Reverend Johnny Tim Fojo. He's an MPP member, and he said that one plane, that is Air MED flight K823 AM, allegedly landed in the country on March 20th, but stayed for 5 days without any record of carrying a patient. The other aircraft, a private jet named Jantuah, that's 12B, touched down on March 12th and jetted off the same day the first departed, heading to Gran Canaria. Is it Camara or Canaria? I think it's Canaria. Okay, the spelling here, because they put a hyphen there before they finish off the spell, so it's a bit difficult to even see the word. Spain on March 25th, Reverend Fojo seemingly vying as the NPP answer to Samuel Okudzeto made audacious claims that drug trafficking was happening, increasing under the new government. Now, this man is now sort of, dodging what the allegation that he made. So we'll get a bit of clarity on that as well. And so that'll be it for what the newspapers have for us this morning. Our third guest is here, and so let me welcome him. Honorable Kisi, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Pacho Boko.
And thank you so much for joining us this morning. So I think with the clarity, I think I should ask Osei Kwame Griffith about it, so the clarity on the cocaine saga. You were clearing the air on it a bit before we even came on air.
Well, the good news is that the security agencies actually found some cocaine that was worth about $350 million. But that's not linked to the plane. The plane.
Okay.
That's a different thing. So I think kudos to them for such a good move. Now, the plane, as at now, there is very little information about it. What is out there is that it was a plane that, is a medical plane that has landed. And there's been the allegation that there's no record of any patient, and the president has directed that all the intelligence agencies should cooperate, should work with the MP to bring out whatever is in there, to make sure that if there's any linkage to drugs or anything, is brought to the bear for everybody to know, and the people who are involved are also dealt with. So that's the good news. So I think as of yesterday, work had started on this matter.
The plane did land in Ghana.
Yes.
That happened.
Yes.
But we don't know
exactly why.
What was in there.
Yes.
Because there was no patients.
Yes, and you see, not because there was no patient.
No medical stuff.
Because the person who broke the news said that there is no record of any patient linked to the plane. So therefore, the president has directed that, they should investigate, and then if there is any evidence that it is linked to drugs, that the people who are involved should be dealt with.
Okay.
So which means the investigation would have to come up with why the plane landed in Ghana in the first place. Yes, it was here for 5 days. So, as at now, we can only hazard a guess, but the actual, I believe in a few days, the actual reason why the plane was here will We'll get to know. People who deal with these things have reasons to hide things they take in and out of the country, tend to arrange their flights to be in the country around that time.
Okay.
Because at that time, airport security is
and
not...
like 1 a.m.
Yes, is not as alert that they should be. Even those at post, some of them even go to sleep. So they take advantage of that. So there is that suspicion that perhaps there's something linked to that.
Okay.
Also, there are other reasons, like some high-profile person that was being brought in on medical grounds, and the person is rich enough to charter a plane to bring that, to come into the country. That too, happens to be. So it's not just for, people who want to sneak things in and out. There are other reasons why. So I think it's laudable that the president has asked that it should be investigated and dealt with right away.
Fantastic. All right, do you know anything about it?
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to you, Roslyn, and your abled guest, my uncle, father, and teacher. One key thing, let me be a bit difficult about this for the NDC administration. When Donald Trump started his re-engagement on drugs, I started weeping, not because that it is wrong or good, but I realized that if the channels to North America is being stopped, then what would the drug barons do? They'll look for other markets. And where would they turn to? Africa. And I've always been of the opinion since January 7th that the administration needs to be up and doing. This to borrow from your words, up and doing, and be actually very proactive in attending to drug issues, especially within our borders. And we shouldn't forget that a lot of things are happening in our quote-unquote backyards. There are some hotspots in Accra where literally even the police are scared to go in because of the kinds of things that are traded and the kind of boys or girls who run these outfits. So I would hope that beyond looking for the trail of what came off this plane and what went on, we actually need to be seen doing more. And galamsey / drugs, bad combination, and it's appearing also that there's high usage of these drugs, largely by the boys who handle, galamsey pits. And I think that now that these two are becoming a huge deal for the health of the nation, then we need to be very, very serious. And I think that some of the actions that the boys do are largely because of the influence of drugs on them, or the fact that they come into money and they can afford these drugs. So it shouldn't be looked at lightly. And mental health, I think, is never given the needed attention in our nation. Not everybody just walking around necessarily dressed in suit is sane. And depression is real, and drug misuse, from alcohol to now, as we know, many kinds of drugs is becoming a huge deal. So I would hope, we promised to increase the facilities for mental health, though we were unable to achieve, admittedly. But I think that I hope that the new administration will take this quite serious, train more psychiatrists, train more people in mental health. And let me add that, in fact, there are medical doctors who do not appreciate mental health.
Really?
Not all medical doctors necessarily understand what mental health is.
Okay.
And the same way with even the security services. In other jurisdictions, policemen have killed people who had mental health or derangement without knowing. Even they've killed the deaf because when they were giving instructions, the deaf man just didn't know. So I think that, one, a lot more information needs to be put out there to educate the masses, especially about prevention and the linkage between the drugs coming in illegally and Galamsey, which also exports things.
For now, the flight we don't know whether.
Oh no! I'm being very, no,
I like your analysis, but I'm just saying that so that people don't think that you are saying that the flight landed with drugs.
No.
As of now, we don't know.
I just think that,
yes. I think your point is perfect, and I like it. I really like it. I don't want people watching to misquote you at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Openye, do you want to touch on it briefly, and then we can go into it?
Yes, I want to find out. Kwame is saying that the drugs and the flight are two separate things. Where did they find the drugs? I don't know. Kwame can tell us. Was it at the airport? Was it somewhere else? I don't know that there's a difference from the way the story was brought out. It looked as if it was the air ambulance that brought in the drugs, but now it seems to be something else. So let me concentrate on the air ambulance. It's an air ambulance, is it?
Yes.
Is it the first time an air ambulance has landed in Accra? When the air ambulance was coming in, the tower would know why it's coming in, wouldn't it? It would have a reason. You just don't fly into Accra and land.
And you have to pay for the space you land.
I'm coming there.
Yeah.
I'm coming there. You have to fly in. The tower would tell you, give you the permission to land. What was the reason? The air ambulance was here for 5 days. What was the reason? When the air ambulance landed, was there anybody in it? And if there was anybody in it, who was in it? If there was nobody in it, why did it come? Was it coming to carry a patient? Why did it stay for 5 days? Next one I ask, as you rightly said, who is paying for the space? Because even airport car park,
you pay.
You pay, let alone airport tarmac. You pay.
Yeah, I hear it's nothing less than $20,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who is paying for it? Then I ask the question, where is the evidence of the MP who broke the story? What evidence is it based on? Because from the way he broke the story, he didn't tell us how he got that evidence and why the ambulance was here.
I think that's why he's been invited to assist with investigations.
But don't you think that the moment you have some information that you want to bring out to the general public, you give reasons? Especially when it's a question of national security. You give reasons? I just hope we're not playing politics with this. I just hope we're not. So, the president has done the right thing. Investigate it. Now, remember, it's the taxpayers' money they are going to investigate. If they investigate it and nothing is in there, what do we say? What do we ask? Because I don't see.
There'll be a false alarm.
Yeah.
What does the law say about false alarm?
Are you trying to tell me that the airport authorities had nothing to do with this plane landing? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that what we're trying to say? That Kotoka International Airport, and Kwame made a statement which was alarming to me, that those in the tower, at the time it landed, sometimes even they sleep.
Not the tower.
Well, where?
No, I didn't say that.
But where? What are we talking about?
I didn't say that.
Those who work there, the security force.
They are neither here nor there. It is the tower. It is the tower that allows a flight to land. Yes, security is there. So security could have been thin. Yes, I agree. But who allows a plane to land? If a plane is landing and that plane is full of explosives, who allows it? They would ask you if it's a strange plane, if it hasn't been organized prior for the plane coming in.
You can't land.
You can't land. And if you land, national security and all that, army would come straight at you. So I'm asking the MP, where did that information come from?
Because there are so many security things that you have to go through before you are able to land in the country.
In the country.
And even the tarmac, the costs there, you can't land just anywhere because you pay for the tarmac and you are shown where you will land. So that place was allocated to the flight for 5 days. So they blocked that space for 5 solid days. It was paid for.
Who is paying? Who is paying?
Well, let's also think about the fact that, you know, there are many West African ambulance services, and they have contractual arrangements for almost a year. So I'm just putting that out there, that it's not like a day transaction. There are arrangements for these ambulances in our country with airport. And let me also delineate a little bit. There's airport security and there's national security. And I'm sure that the protocols are not that national security always handles necessarily everything airport. It's the airport who then, when something is amiss, will trigger other things. I mean, that's how the security agencies
So let me ask you. So let me ask you. KLM, British Airways, Lufthansa, all those flights have a contract with Ghana Airport Authority. Have a contract with Kotoka International Airport. When they are flying in, they give orders that they are coming in.
Oh yeah, I mean that's...
And the time they'll land.
And the time they'll land.
And how long they'll stay.
And how long they'll stay.
And if the flight has an issue.
And the space. Because sometimes when they come in, a flight might have delayed. They sit on the tarmac for a while.
Yeah.
Because then, you know...
Before they move to their space allocated
exactly.
to them.
So for me, there are many questions to be asked than answers that we're giving now. Now, on the cocaine bit, is it today Ghana is a transit point? My good brother was saying, because of Donald Trump, that Ghana has always been a transit point where cocaine is concerned. It's just that we don't pay...
we haven't busted them yet.
That is the question.
So some of us, or some people don't know.
I said that is the question.
Okay.
It isn't the first time Ghana is probably getting this type of thing.
But this is an allegation you're making.
You see the
way you're saying it is as though it's cast in stone. Ghana.
It happens. It's just that Ghanaians are not cocaine consumers.
I beg to differ.
So well, when I say no cocaine consumers, it isn't something that quite a lot of people consume cocaine
in the open.
In the open. But it's a transit point. West Africa is a transit point. They transited. There's so many things that are transited here that we don't even know. But I know national security would know, but the people don't know. Oh, well, let me give them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Griffith, you want to say something?
I think that the good news is that, I mean...
You always say good news. There's no good news about drugs.
No. Well, if you let me finish, you see why I'm saying good news. The good news is that just about a week or two ago, we intercepted...
The 350 million?
So that's very good. That's very positive, you know. And this goes to the commitment of the new administration to fighting these drug issues that, you know, is bedeviled our country.
I mean, I'm not blaming anybody.
No, I understand. That's why I'm trying to answer those questions. Now, what we don't know is whether it is linked to the
ambulance.
The ambulance that came in. And the president has also indicated that he's not going to, you know, allow things to slide.
To pussyfoot around it and do what needs to be done.
So he has asked the intelligence agencies to work with the MP that broke the news and make sure that we have clarity. Like you said.
But Kwame, let me ask you this. This $350 million worth of cocaine that was busted, do you have any idea where they busted this cocaine at?
I think it was somewhere, I'm not sure, but I think I read somewhere that it was on its way around Takoradi, going to Central and West.
On its way?
Yes.
Was it around the same time the flight landed?
It was before or after, I'm not sure.
Was it by road?
By road, yes.
By road.
Yes, so they got a tip-off.
So that's totally different.
From the... that's the point I'm trying to make. It's totally different from the news that was broke that an air ambulance had landed and what have you. Like you said, we don't know what the reasons for the ambulance to land was. But before you can land, you would have provided all this information. And the vigilance of the other people in the tower, as for them, they cannot even blink. But I'm talking about the security people who would inspect your luggage and stuff. Those people, those are the people that, I mean, of course, most people are more active during the day than in the night. So they take advantage of the fact that people are not that alert and active.
Let me ask you a question. Right. Just a quick one. You have been in the military.
Yes.
When a private plane lands at the airport, what's the process and procedures?
Well,
it's not like a passenger aircraft, but a private plane.
You see, I'm agreeing.
Are they allowed to take every luggage out? And how do they take it out? Do they go through the normal challenge,
the check-in and all of that?
The expectation is that, and the point, I want to emphasize is that the procedures and processes that would lead to the clearance of any luggage or personnel on board an aircraft would be the same, irrespective of the time. The point I'm making is that the people who are supposed to enforce these processes and procedures or what have you are more alert during the day. And there are many of them during the day because a lot of flights come in during the day.
So a lot of transactions happen at dawn.
Yes.
Because at that time...
And some of these shady transactions, people arrange them to happen at dawn because they expect that you would have a lean staff and stuff like that, and they take advantage of it. It's not to say that that is how things should be, but that is how things are, and it's not just in Ghana. A lot of the places
in cahoots with people in the airport.
I think we are happy that the president says yes.
The president for taking this bold move.
They should investigate, and we are hoping that we'll hear the end of it. We don't want a situation where we hear that investigations should start, and then before we realize it becomes one of those messages that are pushed under the carpet. We don't hear anything of it again, and it becomes, we want to hear it. Was there cocaine as alleged in that flight, or it was just here to drop a patient and we don't know about that patient? Let's hear about it so that we know that our place or our borders are safe. Because this is quite alarming. This is very scary. There are people who are wondering, okay, so are we going to have, if our borders are so porous, are we going to have these things happening?
Exactly.
And the danger is there. So we have to...
Let me make one more point, if I may. You see, the move by the president is to encourage people, if their intentions are genuine, to bring out some of these issues. So if the intentions of whoever brought it out was actually to expose some of these things, then the president's move should encourage such a person.
There's nothing wrong with that. But Rosalind, if you come and tell me that somebody has broken into my car, and I go and nobody's broken, won't you have to prove to me how somebody's broken?
That's why I asked you a question.
So it's the individual.
I asked you a question. What does the law say about
there are laws that says Criminal Offence Act 1960.
I'm not too sure, but I don't think...
29, it says any person who publishes or reproduces a statement, rumor, or report which is likely to cause fear and alarm to the public or to disturb the public peace, knowing or having reasons to believe that the statement, rumor, or report is false, commits a misdemeanor, and could be convicted, may be fined, and imprisoned.
Have they gone to court before?
There are so many laws that... I'm just saying that...
To conclude, let me just say that nothing against the NDC, but it is apparent that during your tenure, there are too many drug busts. I don't know.
Well, maybe because we are enforcing.
No.
I take that as a compliment.
Honorable, don't go there.
Honorable, don't go there.
Honorable, don't go there.
Don't go there.
Is it not good that you bust?
Yes.
Don't go there.
Something happens that we don't bust.
Busting is to discourage the
politics out of this. Let's take it out.
All right. Okay. Let's hear him out.
My key point is that, surprisingly, during this past 3 months, I'm hearing more about cocaine busts than in previous administrations.
Is it not good news?
That's good news.
It means very good news.
Finally doing their work.
Yes.
That's two things.
Yes.
It's either the traffic increases during the administration, or that
Please,
you know the reason.
Honorable,
I remember
please.
under this administration,
Please.
drug bust turned into, what was it? The powder changed to something.
And was it under this administration?
So it's just interesting.
Okay.
Was it under?
All right. So on that note, now let's.
I don't want to comment. Let's
You can also join our conversation by sending your messages to us at 055 157 5757 055 157 5757. It's getting interesting in here, I must say. So the good news is that the taxes that some of you called the nuisance tax have finally been scrapped. The president has sent his bill to it yesterday, and so effective yesterday or effective today, let me put today because, as of today, we are no more paying e-levy, we are no more paying emission tax and betting tax. Now, talking about this, it has caused some sort of, emotions. People are happy, and some companies are saying that they cannot implement the e-levy, particularly MTN, who has come out to say they can't implement it yet. They will implement it someday, but not yet. They didn't give when. But the president has finally assented to this bill. So with regards to this, some people are saying that it looks like the president is keeping his words with regards to his campaign promise. I like how, Honorable Kisi was like, Honorable Kisi, why, You also campaigned on this promise that if voted into power, you scrap it. However, you implemented it.
Well, admittedly, the e-levy specifically has been one of the unfortunate bits of our administration. And I say this with somewhat happiness and somewhat grief, because it cost us, some of us, let me say, our likability within the party. When we fought literally against some of these things.
Is that why you lost your seat?
Is one of the contributory factors. But the key thing is that, one, I'm happy, and kudos to President Mahama that though we both agreed that the e-levy had to go, that he's been able to see it through and end it. And I've said, I think on other shows, that it will show up the mobile money transactions in this country. So the next 3 quarters, certainly mobile banking will be more than the volumes we saw last year. Because there are many people who actually exited mobile banking, and then some also exited at certain thresholds. Some would not send anything more than 5,000 because of the charges. So that is a plus. Where I worry, and I have to be very frank with you, Las Vegas or Nevada was built largely on taxes, on lottery and gaming, and as it is, betting. And I worry a little bit because, one, from a behavioral standpoint, I think that some level of levying of gamers can change habits when it comes to, addiction to betting and things like that. So that is one thing that I was hoping that we could do something, not necessarily scrapping it entirely, maybe reduce the percentage because of the behavioral aspect. I've seen people lose their homes and many possessions because of their addiction to betting. So with that said, that's where I gringe a little bit, because I know how Vegas looks. We all know Vegas is fantastic. I've been there too many times, and it's a lovely place, but it was built largely on, the taxes that the municipal raises on these things. So to see a lot of monies that could have been used towards infrastructural development, even healthcare in this country, be just given out is troubling for me. And I must argue that we need to revisit it, not necessarily in the percentages that were being taken, but to some levels, so that, one, we can attend to the behavioral aspect. As we know, sometimes taxes are used to stop people from smoking. And that is what I'm talking about in terms of the behavioral aspect. And then largely is there are volumes of monies that government could have really, gotten from well-taxed sports.
Honorable, let me ask you this. The one thing that people kept asking, but I think the MPP government refused to tell them, is what the e-levy was used for.
Well, I mean, let me be very categorical that the monies went into the consolidated fund. And when the money goes there, literally, money is fungible. And that what it means is that once it's in the chest, whatever governmental priorities are, it just, necessarily, the hope of e-levy, which was ACOBAM, as we called it, because it was supposed to solve all of our ailments in the financial sector. But I would say that the quantums of money that came from e-levy, Ghanaians can be assured that once it went into the consolidated fund, because initially, one of the arguments was that it was going to have its own fund and then managed. But at that time, the then minority, which is the NDC, I think rightly fought it, that we want it all in the same chest. So that question of e-levy monies went somewhere hidden is not so. It went into that big chest that all the monies go in, and then it's the same place that we pay everybody from.
But we still ended up going to IMF.
No, the e-levy, I mean, listen, 600 million, per quarter, as opposed to, I think it was 300 million from IMF every quarter, as opposed to what we generated from the e-levy. The quantums are very different.
I know the quantums are different, but the kind of promises that were made to Ghanaians when the e-levy was going to be instituted seemed like, things were going to get better. We're going to see a different life. But unfortunately, we're paying e-levy, and we still didn't see a better life.
Well, as I said here, once we introduced e-levy, even the volumes of people who use mobile banking dropped. So we were always behind on what we expected. And I remember discussing with then former Minister of State, Edu Buahi, that Kenya and other nations have tried e-levy and were not successful. And they had to drop the rates several times and to even scrap it. And we were hopeful that once we introduced it, people will appreciate, and then it would not be a band-aid, but a permanent fix to some of our challenges. But once it was done, even some members of parliament that I know said they would not use mobile money again. Maybe now...
Yet you cut a cake.
Maybe now... I wasn't part of the cake cutting, forgive me. Maybe now some are now going to re-engage and use mobile banking. And let me admit, we all suffered, from this, as it is, I think, double taxation of some sort.
Right.
Because, it was a burden on the Ghanaian people, and it cost us our election to some extent.
It did.
Yeah.
Opening Jantuah, do you think that if Ghanaians knew what the e-levy was used for and saw the developmental aspect of it, they would have fought against e-levy?
Basically, the government of that day was stubborn. Because I remember being on stations with my good brother. He defended it.
He had to.
He defended it. But if you believe in something that you feel is wrong, you talk about it, irrespective of your party or not your party, because it's the country that comes first. That's one thing. Come on, stubborn. Kenya. Didn't we talk about Kenya then? How Kenya, it hadn't worked. And for me, the e-levy was theft. Theft of the people's money. As he rightly said, double taxation. And they said what? They abolished tolls because they gave a picture that the e-levy was going to be...
Change the face of Ghana.
Everything.
Game changer.
Everything. Come on. And now, look, we've had to abolish it. Look at the waste. Look, from the time e-levy came in, what was that, 2018? Yeah?
Yeah.
Till now, if the tolls were there, would we not have made some appreciable amount of money to take care of some of the roads in this country? But what did they do? They just threw it aside. I really couldn't understand the issue of e-levy. I couldn't understand it. Because so far as I was concerned, there were people who had never had a bank account and used that as their bank account. And when you look at the transactions of e-levy, it was in trillions of CDs. You're trying to tell me that the economy couldn't have benefited from that? And then because you saw that, you now bring in such, I don't want to use the word, but for me, that tax was a useless tax. Then I now come and ask the question, what are MTN saying? They can't scrap it.
Not yet.
What do they mean not yet?
They said they'll have to go through...
They'll have to go through what? The president of the country has signed that this thing is no more. And you, a company, saying what to us? You're not going to go according to the law of the land? No, I don't take it.
So what can the president do?
Let me. The reversal requires that the company itself, through their corporate processes, repeal it. And that one, it has to do with software management. I think you would appreciate
It's a software management.
Just a minute. Let me finish.
But when it was implementation,
let me finish.
No, it took a while.
Let me finish. When was the election? December 7th.
Yes.
When was this thing talked about? Way before December 7th. It was talked about by how many parties? Both leading parties. Are you trying to tell me that these companies did not begin to put processes in place?
There's a 21-day period, I think.
Is that what you're trying to tell me? That you are a company.
They will have to comply.
They're a company. You know such is coming up. Both parties, both the MPP and NDC, who are the two major parties, have said when we come in, we'll scrap it. Don't you start working on the processes? And now it has come. You're telling us what? Because of what? I don't buy it. Sorry, Kwame.
No, I'm not defending them.
I do not buy it. You should have gotten your processes ready. The moment the president put a pen to the paper and signed, it's gone. You cannot continue to labor the people with a tax that the president has what? Annulled. So I don't buy it. The MTN guy should come back again. We shouldn't take it. And how many people use MTN? Nearly 70% of people in this country. And if they want to say, you're going to charge, where is that money going to go to?
Yeah.
They will have to return it to the... Well, here's the thing.
No, I don't believe that.
He'll finish in like a minute and then I can come to you.
Betting.
Kwame, write it all because I want you to say what you say.
Who brought betting into this country? Apart from the lotto that we do, who brought betting into this country? Before bringing betting into this country, did we consider the moral and addictive effects of bringing it into this country? Did we? Because it is making our youth go into areas of their lives that are destroying them.
And we're advertising betting.
And we're advertising betting. My dear friend Kisi talks about LA and all that. Go and see the morality in LA today. Go and see.
You marry in 24 hours.
I said, go and see.
Divorce in 24 hours.
Go and see. Are you trying to tell me that this country, we cannot, from our natural resources and what we get out of our natural resources, we cannot raise money to build this country? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Betting for me is immoral because it is those who bring the betting in who make the money. Those who bet don't make the money. And this betting tax is on the winnings of betting, not taxes from the betting companies. But I am dead against betting because it's a shadow for politicians not to do what they're supposed to do in trying to create jobs for the youth. It's a shadow because definitely the youth will gyrate, and even elderly people who don't have the wherewithal will gyrate there because they feel, and it's a psychological thing, they feel, oh, we got to better, I'll make money. Look, in the UK, what do you call it? The
scratch and win?
Not the scratch and win. They had one that...
Is it the lottery?
The lottery.
Yeah.
Every, what do you call it? Weekend.
Yeah.
We all go and do it.
Yeah, the lottery.
When we won...
£1, there you go.
I said, when we won, how much did you win?
Like £20.
£20.
Yeah.
£5.
Yeah.
The lottery themselves, did they not make plenty money? Once in a while, you hear somebody has won 2 or 1 million pounds. Once in a while.
Jackpot.
We have to be able to do things that help the country grow. Does betting help the country grow? If I have a child in class 1 today and they see what betting does, are they not growing with it? Would they not think it's an easy way to make money? But there's no easy money in this world. No easy money. And it has implications on the youth. So for me, betting hasn't been something I'm for.
Okay.
If we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's be able to educate the young people what it means to do betting and how addictive it is.
It's very, very addictive, I must say. I know people that will use their last penny to bet and beg to eat.
Beg to eat.
It's very addictive.
Very addictive. If you have a child who does betting,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble.
They become thieves.
Your money in your purse.
Those who are addicted become thieves.
Kwame na number of 5 CDs be on my purse, and they'll lie to you. It's wrong.
And let me add that, unfortunately, some mobile money vendors have ended up in prison for using their boss's capital to bet.
Yes.
You know, and it's quite sickening.
We should go into it and delve into it and see the uses of betting to the country. Is everything only money?
All right, Griffith, you want to say?
I wanted to say, I mean, not necessarily in defense of MTN, but, you know, just to clarify that I think that if they may have put out a statement, I haven't seen the statement, but I want to believe that.
I heard the MD talk about it on radio yesterday.
Okay, so if they have, it's because systems just don't overnight. You know, it's quite...
They're trying to tell me they shouldn't have seen this.
Well, but even if you have prepared in terms of writing the necessary scripts that would reverse some of these things, the implementation will take time.
They should give us a time limit. They should give us time limit. He didn't give us time limit.
So Griffith, I'm just wondering, they are taking... So what about the other apps? What about the other...
Oh, the others would...
So what makes them different from the others?
The others would all need... Maybe one person has spoken. The others will all need a few, you know, maybe some downtime, usually between midnight and 3 a.m., to implement some of these things. I don't think that... I don't expect that it should go, you know, beyond maybe a few days. Having said that, I happened to be at a meeting where the decision to register all mobile phones was communicated to the telcos and national security. I remember MTN, all the telcos came with 2 lawyers to come and fight the policy, you know. And I remember making it clear at that meeting that whether you like it or not, there are 3 things that technology is squeezing together: identification, banking, and communication. And any bank that fails to see this trend is going to be left behind. So is any telco that fails to see this. So therefore, it is important to sanitize the system by attaching some identity to your means of communication. And lo and behold, Momo and things came up. And look at how many people are transacting business in. So my expectation is that within a few days, you should be able to. But they have to run the necessary scripts that will say, okay, now when there's transaction, don't take this amount of money. And even if you take it from this time, reverse it. All that you have taken from this time, reverse it to, because the rightful owner is the person who paid. Because at that point, it was not within the laws to take money from that person.
Kwame, let me ask you a question, sorry.
Yes.
As a commercial entity, what right do you have to come and fight a government policy?
They're not fighting.
So what are they doing? So they bring in 2 lawyers. Why did they bring in 2 lawyers?
Oh, no, I'm talking about, you are talking about the Momo.
Yes.
Oh, no, because they think that it would. No.
If it's good for the country, which comes first?
But you see, we dealt with the situation. At that point, we dealt with the situation.
But it is wrong.
You see, no, we dealt with the situation.
Wrong.
It is not right. But you see, you also expect that businesses would try to do things in their interest. You see,
is it in their interest or in the customer?
Not necessarily in their interest.
And you think what government is doing
in their
is
interest
not right
and
for
their
the country.
customer.
The country comes first before any commercial entity.
I'm on your side on this matter because we fought to make sure it was implemented. The only disagreement I had at that time was that I said we should have a unified identity for it to run on.
Okay, so this is what the MTN CEO said. That's Stephen Blewett. He says that the much debated electronic transfer levy continues to be a major topic in Ghana's financial landscape. But MTN CEO Stephen Blewett has made it clear that it its abolishment cannot happen overnight. Speaking at the MTN House in Accra on Wednesday, April 2nd, he addressed public concerns over the levy, the regulatory constraints involved, and what its removal would mean for mobile money users. There's a process that has to be followed. He stated emphatically, I can't abolish e-levy until I'm told to do it. Is he not told to do it?
Now he has been told.
Yeah.
So this interview, I think, and let me be very a bit.
Okay.
I think our press people sometimes are ingenious and do not do the right thing. The timing of this interview and when the president assented are not connected.
How?
Well,
This was before.
This was before the signing.
When did they sign?
The signing was yesterday.
And look at this. This is April 12th, April 2nd.
Time in terms
of what?
When I saw.
Well, the issue is that
on TV.
You see, I beg to differ.
Because we are looking.
You know why I beg to differ?
He actually
knew it was coming.
Yes.
He knew it was coming.
So this story was posted at 3:37, and that had been signed already.
No, but that doesn't mean that's a time.
Okay, but he goes ahead to say that if I do it ahead of time, the Bank of Ghana will catch me.
So
his comments highlight the fact that while the government has expressed intentions to scrap the e-levy, the telecommunications sector, including MTN, is bound by strict regulatory frameworks that must be adhered to before any changes take effect. I read an article a few days ago, and in terms of what is actually delivered for the fiscal, it was not nearly as high as the predictions revealed.
MTN today. And knowing our media guys, I mean, I need to talk to Abubakar. Please, let's be a bit fair, because this is corporate branding, and we need to be very careful about it. The key thing here, as the CEO's narrative goes, it's very clear to me that he was speaking unaware, one, that Mahama has signed. I mean, that's very clear to me. And literally, let me also add that he's right to say that the Bank of Ghana, per the signatures that the president have assented to, now has to give them instructions.
But as of now, we don't know. Can I have the messages coming in, please? Can I have messages?
Listen.
Okay, so
listen. If it so happened that government said to us, by this time, we are going to stop using petrol in this country. Everything in this country should be gas. Are you trying to tell me that the petrol garages will wait for them to pass it before they change to gas? No. Will they not prepare towards it?
He's not saying he's
so why didn't he said he has to be instructed. He says he has to be instructed. You see,
the processes should be.
The president does not instruct.
No. The processes you should arrange for the processes to take in and kick in the moment it is signed.
Bank of Ghana will instruct him, and then he'll do.
But if the president has instructed,
the president's instruction. Please, let's be very.
Let's widen the debate.
We are trying to get ourselves educated this morning. If the president assents his bill and gives a directive, must you wait for somebody else to give another directive? Is that what it is?
Must you wait?
Okay.
He works under the instruction of Bank of Ghana. This is a banking mobile application.
So let's widen it.
So please,
I think that
please, we have to be.
Let's widen it. You're trying to tell me that Bank of Ghana was not in this country when both political parties said they'll scrap the e-levy.
Wait.
So
let's ask the question: Has the Bank of Ghana issued that instruction?
So that is where a default.
To the best of my knowledge,
that is where a default has come in, because the Bank of Ghana.
Blame MTN.
Wait. The Bank of Ghana, and I'm saying, let's widen the argument. Then it means the Bank of Ghana did not take heed of what the two political parties were saying during the election time. The governor should have said, well, both political parties have indicated...
Irrespective of who was the governor at that time.
Yes, we'll scrap e-levy. Let's start putting our regulatory things in place to make it quick when this law...
As a matter of a week.
Whatever the case,
not even a week.
You should.
I'm just saying.
From the way he's talking,
you should prepare. The Bank of Ghana should have prepared for it.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Maybe by close of day, MTN CEO is watching the show this morning.
I have to start.
And so by close,
now we haven't seen it.
By close of day, he's going to make sure that it's implemented. So let me read a few messages. Gentlemen, let me read a few messages coming in. Dear MTN CEO, I'm here for you. So call me anytime. I'll be at your office so that when you implement it, just let me come and cover it. Rosalind Felly, just call me. You know, this morning we'll be speaking about it. So call me and I'll cover it and I'll give you a full story on our Prime morning. Yeah, I have to do it. All right, so this one says, hi, Joy Prime, good morning and good work. Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Madam Rosalind, and to your wonderful guest. Madam, so far, so good. Indeed, JM is actually resetting our great nation. In fact, we Ghanaians actually appreciate the good work of John Mahama and his team. We indeed made the right choice. Madam, I would like to use your good platform to appeal to His Excellency to turn his good eyes to our MP for Mion, Alhaji Misbah, for him to make our seat safe for NDC, and to the good lawyer, Jantuah, on your show. He deserves a better appointment, and to appeal to him that when JM called him to help, he shouldn't turn it down. Sumani Hamza. Opinion? So when you're called, please don't turn it down, all right? Lights must be cut at certain areas to avert incidents of electrocution, because some areas will by all means get flooded. Patrick from Accra. Okay, Patrick, thank you for this advice. But then, okay. For this, let's leave it. Honorable Akesbe Rebecca says, I'm concerned about the recent allegations of flights linked to drug trafficking. As a citizen, I believe it's crucial we address this issue promptly and transparently. Our country's security and well-being should be our top priority. I urge our authorities to investigate these claims thoroughly and take decisive action to prevent any illegal activities. Let's work together to ensure our nation remains a safe and secure place for everyone. Thank you so much. Master Planner from Kingston Paul, he says that the busted cocaine on its way to Takoradi can be linked to the flight, because if indeed the flight came in with cocaine, we don't expect the flight to transport those cocaine to Takoradi. What is good news about busting cocaine in recent times? It could also be that the people in power are part of the chain of transportation. It's alarming and worrying, and not a good news. I strongly disagree with you. Master Planner, if people in power are doing it, you can't bust them, trust me. you struggle to bust anybody who is in power, and trafficking drugs. You can't. Anyway. Ahasa Cisse from Zeno Central says, good morning to everyone. Finally, the direct stealing of e-levy tax is gone in Ghana. Say kudos to JM and NDC for fulfilling their campaign promise. As for the containers, we witnessing another example of the excavators, which have no wings but also was able to fly to unknown destinations. In the first term of JDM, the NPP alleged guinea fowls was flown to Burkina Faso, a known destination, but the NPP in power for 8 years couldn't go for these guinea fowls. In the era of NPP, it's mentals that are flying, which have wings, but can fly to unknown destinations. Honorable Intim Fojo should just cooperate with the security services for smooth investigation. Well, he says he's going to cooperate. He hasn't said he won't cooperate, so that's good news. Musa Abatwa in Asawase, the doomsayers who labeled John Mahama's promise to abolish e-levy, betting tax and emission tax as a scam have been proven wrong. True to his words, these nuisance taxes have been scrapped, easing the burden on hard-working Ghanaians. This is the kind of leadership the country has been yearning for. The future is indeed looking brighter for the people of Ghana. I wish our excellent Vice President a speedy recovery. Meshak Asante from Mama Saman, at long last, e-levy, betting tax and emission levy officially abolished by President Mahama. Everybody is now free to transfer any amount of money without paying any government tax on it. And this is what we describe as good leadership. A leader who always thinks about the well-being of his citizens, unlike the previous NPP government, which always burdened Ghanaians with a lot of tax. And let me come on the missing containers. We urge Honorable John Jinapor to expose everyone who is involved and bring them to book, including Afenyo-Markin, who was the board chairman at that time. And thank God, those who were initially doubting the minister, including some journalists, have now believed that there's indeed a missing container at the port. Defending NPP party is like defending your stubborn child. You will end up disgracing yourself in public. Eish. Oh, Mahama, you are a man of your words. God bless you, Daddy. Owusu from Kumasi. Hey, Owusu, now the president is your daddy, eh? Hey. Sometimes I feel ashamed about... okay, so let me just go to this one. MPP never again. No, I don't read some messages. No, it's not all messages that I will read out because, like we said, we have to be very, very careful.
Editorial rights.
Yes. So, NPP never again. Thank JM for listening to the youth of Ghana. Bedman Polibo. Wow, Bedman Polibo. All right. Good morning, Roslyn. I'm calling on the president to ensure that the ongoing investigation into the suspicious landing of the air ambulance and the subsequent discovery of drugs is thoroughly conducted and yields tangible results. It's imperative that this investigation doesn't follow the usual pattern of inconclusive outcomes. The Ghanaian public is eagerly waiting a comprehensive and transparent investigation that holds those responsible accountable, as President Mahama has already directed the national security and relevant authorities to conduct a full-scale investigation. It's crucial that we see tangible progress. I urge the president to keep the public informed about the investigation's progress and to ensure that those found guilty are brought to justice. This is an opportunity for the government to demonstrate its commitment to transparency and accountability. Timothy Annabella from Bechim. Roslyn, we had Football Polls Authority in those days, the local level. It's disappeared during the Champon era. Football Polls Authority, what's that? I don't know what the football polls are. Okay, I'm guessing this is somebody who is a bit old. Yeah, I'm 25 years, so when you tell me Champon era, I won't know. Good morning to Lawyer Jantuah. We will demonstrate if MTN keeps taxing e-levy. Kubela inside Tamale. I know a lot of you will demonstrate. You would, even MTN will lose customers if they try to do that. So I think that they would...
Keep it on for
even a week.
Not even beyond a day or two. It will become an issue.
Yeah, they will lose a lot of customers. Yes. All right. Good morning, Honorables. I have overcome one major thing that annoys me so much, and that was e-levy. The way I'm happy, only God knows why. My worry was when I am transferring my own money from my bank account into my Momo wallet, they charged me e-levy, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. Thanks so much for the singular act, Mr. President. Shaibu from Kanda. Are we going to see e-levy as a new free SHS opinion? Because it looks like people are really touting the president for this.
Well, it was a campaign promise, and he's fulfilled the campaign promise.
One of many.
Well, this is specific to this particular thing. But, you know, there's one thing we also, one of the most important ones I feel in the batch of signatures was the uncapping of Get Fund. I think, is it NHIS?
Yeah. NHIS.
Fantastic. So the Get Fund can grow, and we can use it for education and not be robbing Peter to pay Paul from all different angles.
I think somewhere next week we will bring the no double track system. You know, now the students can go back to school. They've scrapped the double track. Now it's a single track. So maybe somewhere next week.
I just want us even to go back to the old 5 years.
Hey, open you. All right. Good morning, Joy Primary. Do you want to know the use of e-levy? I have answers for you. E-levy, other taxes were used for kinky parties, luxury jets, e-levy cakes. Hey. Boss, this one there. We don't know this for sure. This one there is like you are speaking out of pain, pal, because... All right, so I won't continue reading it, but anyway, this was one thing that made the NPP unpopular, e-levy and the betting tax. I wish they should have listened to Ghanaians rather than try taking a strong stand. I hope this time they will learn. Good morning, Doctor, my political communicated mentor, and to my uncle Kwame Jantuah and your good self. This is from Solomon Bolga. All right, so e-levy affected the NPP.
Admittedly.
But
It would have affected any government.
But why is it that you stood your ground at that time?
No, let me be a bit clear about one thing. You know, within any caucus, some may be in opposition, but when a majority agrees, then you have to all stand by it.
Yeah.
So I mean, let me make that clear to Ghanaians. There are many instances that even now, when the NDC agrees to something, I can admit that not all 160 plus MPs are for it.
180.
180 are for it. Thanks for reminding me. You know, I'm always hoping it's
I try to minimize their power.
always hoping it's
You can't minimize their power.
but you know, less is always more. But as it stands, so it's not necessarily the case that when your caucus is for something, then you are seen doing something else. There will be agreements within, but not outside. So you start with them and you go with the flow as it is.
But Doc, almost all Ghanaians said no. Do you think that at a point in time, your party was so party drunk or power drunk that they closed their ears to the cry of Ghanaians?
No. Let me add one bit. This one is in support of our IMF arrangement. The finance ministry needed to show other ways of having revenue to make up for the arrangements. And as we speak now, listen, yesterday I heard that we're losing on some of our commitments through the IMF. So, you know, it's a bit more complicated. When finance ministry needed to look for ways to prove to IMF that they would try other revenue handles.
But I'm sorry to cut you here, and I have to come a bit closer. You had the road tolls. It was an avenue of making money. Why scrap that for this? If you are trying to show to IMF that you have avenues of making money, you had the road tolls.
You see, I don't even want to go into the road toll thing, but let me say this, that a huge amount of road tolls actually don't end up in the consolidated fund.
Why?
And that has to be looked at. And in fact, I believe that Atu Forson is very much aware of this, in addition to the road minister, that, you know, the nuances, it's just like the toilets in this country where, you know, is one for government, two for the assemblymen. And literally, I'm being very open about it, that a lot of the road tolls, some go to the chiefs in the local area, unfortunately. You know, so Atu Forson and I forget my man at Road Ministry now, this very loud MP, come on now. Anyways, they have to work and make sure that the new modern toll booths, the transactions are so electronic that everything goes to government.
Doc,
you know,
I beg to differ from your point.
You
know why? You know why?
Some of them had even receipts at the tools that were not government receipts.
You could have fixed it.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You could have fixed it.
I'm telling you the reality.
But you could have fixed it.
You know?
Wait. I ran a toll booth.
Right.
Adome Bridge toll booth. At the time, what you're saying happened. I brought in technology, and this was 2000. I brought in technology where there was a gadget which you can put under the road, and every car that passes, it will count it. You then plug that, you take it out, plug it into your computer, and it will tell you how much money you're supposed to make. This was 2000. When I brought it in, the government at the time said, oh, no, it's not something we are interested in.
Yeah, you know why?
So I'm trying to say that the technology has been there for years.
I'm not arguing that it isn't.
We could have improved
if we wanted to get it done. Well, could it have been that we played a bit of politics with our road tolls?
We played politics with everything.
Because, you know, some people were of the school of thought that somebody's contract had to be cancelled.
Yes.
Was that
politics?
And you see, the issue here is that I think the MPP at that time probably overhyped how much money was going to come, you know, from this e-levy thing, and decided to sacrifice.
Overhyped, or they deceived us?
They deceived.
That's two different things.
If I may. Yes. And let me also say, in response to Honorable's submission, that the fact that you needed to maybe assure IMF that there were revenue streams.
It's one-off.
One-off.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that the e-levy made no sense. In fact, what was even much more senseless was the emissions levy. But let me leave that for now.
Environmental related.
Yeah, but environmental related, when you have an infrastructure in place, where people have the opportunity to buy electric vehicles, charge them on the roads, then you bring in these taxes to discourage people from keeping to, burning fossil fuels to transport themselves. We don't have that infrastructure in place. Just because there's that international commitment that, you need to pass some of these laws. Then you come and pass them on to us. When it's like we don't have winter here, then somebody has gone to say because they have winter, we have to buy jackets.
We have bought winter coats.
Then we buy winter coats here. Meanwhile, there is no point. Can you show me one point where if you buy an electric vehicle here, you can go and charge on the streets? So when you have that infrastructure in place, then you introduce the emissions levy, where you penalize people who refuse to go with the direction that you are trying to lead your nation, where you can have a safer environment. And before you do that, you have provided the infrastructure. We don't have anything. But we decide to...
It was signaling to the international companies.
It was signaling to the international companies.
And let me also say that.
Deceiving them.
And let me also say that. We made all the points
signaling.
that, look, Uganda, it cut down electronic transactions by 50%. Zimbabwe, Kenya, Nigeria, everywhere it has been introduced, it has come with two things. One, there has been a huge public outcry, and two...
And protest.
And two, it has reduced drastically electronic transactions. Look, don't forget, financial inclusion is important for any developing economy. And if we are... on one hand...
You're borrowing from Baumia's words, right?
Baumia did nothing about digitalization. Let's not go there. It's business you are talking to.
Let me read a few messages.
So you can't... We built the Eastern Corridor fiber
All right,
network.
let me read a few messages,
We built the Western Corridor fiber network. We built the NITA data center. It is our time that the Bank of Ghana, the most secure data center. All these things we did.
Okay, so let me read a few. Some people says that Mohammed's asset tax repeal bill seems to hold little value for Ghanaians who are already shouldering numerous taxes, including those related to COVID-19. Are we going to see COVID-19 tax also cancelled?
I think it was procedure. The procedure is different. That is why it is still there.
And it has some reflection on VAT.
Okay.
So they are saying that they need to discuss it with the IMF to see how
it's locked in.
Yeah.
Oh,
like I was saying.
So you locked it in there.
No, it was necessary, a necessary evil.
COVID-19 taxes are necessary.
Let me be very frank with Ghanaians. Listen, the government made commitments on the health front, and as it stands now, not all the commitments have been done, but it's not tax for just things that were done during the e-levy COVID period. Is related to Ghana's health or healthcare. And especially now with the uncapping of NHIS, people stand to benefit straight.
So then we should expect it to be cancelled.
Why did you cap the NHIS? Why did you cap?
All right, so it says it's not an instance of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Moreover, Kwame Jantuah's overwrought remarks on the signing of bill appear hypocritical and interest galore. I wish the vice president. Why do you say his AE is like that? Because he's saying what it is. That is what you people are saying in your homes. He's talking about it and you're saying this. All right. Good morning, Rosalind. I'm Awudu Idrisi from EHE. You use AI? Okay. Do all institutions need further indication after seeing all the publications? I did a transaction of 1,500 Ghana cedis to my son at Tamale and was directly deducted. This government should be serious. Okay, so now this is actually talking about the MTN thing. Yeah. I think that's what he's talking about, so that he did the transaction just about 2 days ago. And that's it. You will feel it if they don't do something about it. You know what I mean? 1 second, trying to get all the messages. All right. Emission levy was never implemented, although there was an act on it, but the act never worked. COVID-19 levy is still hanging there. President Mahama should cancel it too, as he promised during 2024 elections. Is COVID-19 still there? He has done well for cancelling e-levy and betting tax. Master Planner Junior Kintempo. Yes, I think that as for the COVID levy, when I go to the restaurant and I see it, then I'm collapsing. I want it cancelled. Sharp, sharp, sharp. Sharp, sharp, sharp.
The restaurants I go to, I don't see COVID.
That's not true.
I mean,
that's not true.
If you go to you know what I mean, Choba, you will see.
Rosen is posh, so he goes to posh restaurants.
Okay, really?
The ones I go to, I don't see.
I can't afford this. I don't go to any. I eat at home.
Good morning, Roslyn. E-levy is gone. Good move, JDM Randy from Takrade. Football poll. Okay, this is what he was trying to say. Football polls was the betting platform for football. Okay, so he's trying to say that betting has always been there, and they were using the football polls as such. Good morning, Roslyn. The promise keeper has kept his promise made to us by abolishing the nuisance tax. May Almighty Allah continue to bless him. My regards to my sister Zanetta Rollins. This from Rollins Boy in Cape Coast. Prince Henry Koforidia says, good morning. Nanado, Dr. Balmia and MPP should never be given the opportunity to come close to power because they are very wicked and threat to Ghana's economy, survival and progress. E-levy and betting tax was an evil tax the NPP inflated on Ghanaians. In 2017, you people were writing the same thing about the NPP. NDC should never come back to power. Relax. Time will tell. So after investigation into the so-called suspicious flight land in Accra and nothing is found, who pays for the loss? Again, e-levy was just evil. Imagine taxing me for transferring money from my bank account to my Momo wallet. Thank you, JM, for this singular act. Unas, Asin South. Al-Hassan Sisi. Al-Hassan, haven't I read your message yet? All right. It says that, Doctor, that is why Ghanaians have signals you at the polls. Good morning. Please, they secretly increase light, increased by 80%. How is a poor Ghanaian going to buy it? Honorable Anas, has light bill gone up? I don't know.
PRC will hit us soon.
Yes, if light has been increased, PRC is there for us. Fraja from Amasaman, I'm reaching out to bring attention to a concerning issue with the ECG. Their team periodically visits our community to trim trees and plant under power lines, but instead of completing the job, they allegedly accept bribes from residents and leave the hazardous branches untouched. This negligence has led to a recent fire outbreak, highlighting the urgent need for ECG to take responsibility and ensure the safety of our community. I kindly request that Joy News investigates this matter and pushes for a solution to prevent future accidents. Thank you for your attention to this pressing issue. Fraja from Amasama. Fraja will take a look into that, okay? And to all of you that sent your messages, thank you. I wish we had enough time, but we don't. So let me just take your final opinions on what we've spoken about, and then we can go. So I'll start this with you. Open your comment, Jantuah.
In terms of what we're talking about?
Yes, in terms of what we're talking about.
I just hope and pray that the president sticks to all the promises he has given us. And when he can't, you should please come and tell us why he can't. Okay. We need to build the nation. That's where my entire focus is. And the people shouldn't suffer because we're trying to build a nation. Yeah, there are certain things that we will do, the people have to suffer, but communicate effectively so that we are all part and parcel of it.
Fantastic. Honorable?
Well, as it stands now, I think that based on controls at the border and the need to ensure that we are not a hub for drug trafficking, the government needs to do more. And I'm saying this is not necessarily just for the NDC, but for the country. We need to copy Donald Trump with regards to, making sure that our borders do not, allow for easy access of drugs. And then also kudos to the NDC for bringing to a closure the e-levy. I mean, we are all relieved. All Ghanaians are relieved, and I see that the remaining 3 quarters in this year will show up in terms of mobile banking. So we'll wait to see all of that. Fantastic.
All right, thank you, Doc.
Well, kudos to the president. You know, he's been nicknamed Osiadio. Whatever he says, he's doing. So kudos to him. And I urge MTN to...
But there's one thing that he probably hasn't done.
Let him
Let me finish.
I'm talking for it.
MTN, you know, should also take note that beyond 24 to 48 hours, Ghanaians will start losing patience, you know, so it won't be good for their corporate brand if they are seen as not following through, because the e-levy is, you know, scrapping of the e-levy is a very popular thing among Ghanaians, irrespective of which political party you belong to. Our friends on the opposite side have learned a bitter lesson on this matter. I'm sure that, and I urge MTN to take, you know, necessary steps. Administrative steps. And whoever has to instruct, like he said, if the president says investigate, it doesn't mean that anybody from any of the investigators just starts investigating. Somebody has to be instructed. So whoever has to do the instruction,
Bank of Ghana,
it has to happen very quickly, because people are, you know, it's very popular and people are very, very impatient, you know, when it comes to them still paying when it has been made clear that it has been abolished. So
all right. Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. I think we have our Facebook lovers who also joined us. And so let me see if I can read a few comments from Facebook. Once we've promised them that we will read their comments, we are here to read their comments. And so, so let's go on Facebook right now. So, Pedro Maldina Cruz watching the bus show live and clear inside Indianapolis, Kumasi, Thanos, so Kesben Junction, the main location. This from Pedro. Thank you so much. Kak Dilly de Kak. Hey, Facebook, you have names, so wow. Please, good morning. The MTN is not charging e-levy as at midnight. Okay, that's good then. Great. Salimatu Saidi says bravo to President John Mahama. Musa Abattoir, the doomsayers who labeled John Mahama. What's it? All right. The doomsayers who labeled John Mahama as promised to abolish e-levy, betting tax and emission tax as a scam have been proven wrong. True to his word, these nuisance taxes have been scrapped, easing the burden on hard-working Ghanaians. This is the kind of leadership the country has been yearning for. The future is indeed looking brighter for the people of Ghana. I wish our excellent Vice President a speedy recovery. Good morning, Roslyn, and this is from Timothy Annabella. I'm calling on the President to ensure that the ongoing investigation into the suspicious landing of the air ambulance and the subsequent discovery of drugs is thoroughly conducted and yields tangible results. It's imperative that this investigation doesn't follow the usual pattern of inconclusive outcomes. The Ghanaian public is eagerly awaiting a comprehensive and transparent investigation that holds those responsible accountable, as President Mahama has already directed the national security and relevant authorities to conduct a full-scale investigation. It's crucial that we see tangible progress. I urge the President to keep the public informed about the investigation's progress and to ensure that those found guilty are brought to justice. This is an opportunity for the government to demonstrate its commitment to transparency and accountability. Timothy Annabella. All right. Sami Boache from Masamanke say Mahama's asset to tax repeal bill seems to hold little value for Ghanaians who are already shouldering numerous taxes, including those related to COVID-19. Is it not an instance of robbing Peter to pay Paul? I think I already read this one. All right, so Sami Boache, thank you too. And thank you to all of you that sent your messages to us on Facebook. We are very grateful. So on that note, I want to say a very big thank you to my guest for making it here this morning. Thank you so much. Honorable Kisi, who represents the NPP. Openyi Kwame Jantuah had to leave, and so thank you to him. And thank you to Osei Kwame Griffith, who represented the NDC. We are super, super grateful that you made time this morning to spend with us, looking at how the weather is and some people not having lights and all of that. Thank you.